I'm Dea.
I'm Reese.
And we are literally dead.
Welcome to another episode.
How are you doing? How are you feeling? We're batch filming this, so I'm actually still sick. Even though you're watching this like April.
No, you've just been sick for 2 months.
Oh my god.
God, you jinxed it and you are. Whew.
You jinxed it, not me!
I don't think that's true. Today we are doing, as you can probably see from the title, Dog Soldiers.
Woof.
From the year
2002.
Which we actually did a film last month for 2002, which was May.
Oh my god, we're just picking that year apparently.
Yeah, I wonder how many... Actually, I would love to look at the dates of all the films we've done to see if there's like a weird pattern.
I do believe that Vampire Lovers is still to date our oldest film.
That's the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm. We should go back further, you know? We should really look into some older films.
We should, but no one's been complaining.
No. Maybe you should suggest some old films if you want us to watch an old horror movie. Or a new one. We don't care.
We love all horror films.
Yeah.
Why are we talking like the fucking Children of the Corn?
Anyway, just to remind you before we get properly started, you can follow us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd.
And OnlyFans.
Not yet. We're not ready.
Wiki Feet. Maybe. I've been waiting.
If only Wiki Feet.
I've been waiting. I'm waiting.
Do you get paid if you get on Wiki Feet?
No. It's like Wikipedia. It's just like people documenting.
So you're doing this voluntarily?
Well, no. I want to do it of me. I could put my own feet on there probably. Actually, you know what? I've actually never visited Wiki Feet. So I don't know. But you want someone to do it of you. That's like when it's like meaningful.
Oh, I see.
And not someone you know. Come on, that's like cheating. So don't do it for my birthday.
I'm thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it, but I'm thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it, girl. No, I'm excited for this film. It's a British film. Yeah, let's just call it a British film. It does take place in Scotland, but...
Scotland is in Britain.
I know, but I know...
But for how long?
Some people... You know, funny when you say British, and it's like, it's Scottish, not British.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just say, it's a British film.
Yes.
Which is very cool. We've not done many of those. I'm sure we've done one.
We've done the 28 movies.
There you go. Yeah. Period. Well, one of them is. One of them is definitely not.
Yes.
Let's get a spoiler-free synopsis because we need to get into this film.
I know, I'm sorry. We're going to give you some spoiler-free synopsis here. You can decide, are you going to go and watch the film or are you going to stay with us? Whatever you want to do. We recommend you watch this one because it's pretty good. Soldiers during war games discover another team slaughtered, realizing they are not alone.
And that's all we can say.
That's all we can say.
Get out. Okay, for those who stayed, onto the spoiler. Let's get into this film. We would start. We don't have like any kind of format for like a preamble.
No.
Which is quite interesting. It's just his spoiler free.
Yeah.
The movie starts. This film opens on a couple camping out in the woods. Mm-hmm. They're in Wales. It's a male female couple, and it seems to be that the male is a writer. That's not relevant. Yeah. But she gives him a
solid silver letter opener.
Yeah,
looks
very
kind
sharp.
Of sharp.
Mm-hmm.
It's very pretty. I think it's like a celebration gift of some accomplishment.
He wants to gift her something back, so they go into their tent late at night, and he's trying to get his fingers up in her. But as he's unzipping her panties, panties have zips now. Don't know why I said that, but as he's unzipping her panties, because I like that thought, something. Oh, your pubes get stuck.
No, I was thinking a lip gets stuck.
You can be conscious of that though. I feel like even if it's fully zipped up, a pube can get stuck.
Yeah.
You know? And zipping down, you're not going to get a lip. But zipping down, you're going to get a pube.
They were trousers. They weren't even panties.
Anyway, he's unzipping her panties because panties have zips. Everyone knows this. And as he's doing that, something is unzipping their tent. Oh, and they look over and it zips all the way up. And then all of a sudden, beastly hands reach forward and grab the girl's legs and pull her out of the tent.
Yeah.
The guy tries to pull back a little bit, but blood everywhere. They're presumed dead.
I'm going to say this because I got confused because it jumps around, right? The couple getting attacked by this, they're set in Scotland, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right, you're right. Not Wales, they're set in Scotland.
Yeah. Now, it cuts to...
Meanwhile...
2 hours earlier, which is why would you put that 2 hours... I don't know. Anyway, meanwhile, in North Wales, there is a soldier being reprimanded by his commanding officer, and he's being told to shoot this dog. And he doesn't want to shoot the dog, but he keeps getting told to.
You're very Kingsman.
Back and forth.
Until the commander just shoots the dog and basically calls the soldier
useless.
And
so you failed.
4 weeks later?
Yeah. Now, so we've gone from Scotland, and then we've gone to Wales, and now we're going back to Scotland, same forest that the couple got attacked in, yeah?
You know, we could have just, like, not told the listeners.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have been confused.
I feel like...
But I feel like you expressing and communicating your confusion is confusing them.
I'm to be confused. I'm allowed to express how I feel.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird thing to use for like a horror like this, because typically that kind of technique is used like for things like a rom-com, where it's like, oh, this guy makes this certain decision and goes somewhere and something happens to him, but 2 hours ago, in the same place or in a different place, there's a girl getting on a plane.
Yeah.
That's the vibe it's given. And then it's like
butterfly effect.
It's like meet cute. So when he ends up in Scotland, it's like, oh, this is where he was, and he's butterfly affected, and now he's here with this other cutie, and it's like, but it's a werewolf and a soldier.
And a bunch of sweaty old men.
Speaking of sweaty old men, 4 weeks later in Scotland, we meet the team. They all hop off a helicopter, and they sort of like, ground around, sit between some trees, and sort of find their bearings on what they're going to do, what their plan is.
There's some characterization, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't know any of them. They're all green, so I couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah.
So there was 2 older ones, then there was Cooper, our main character, and a guy who's like similar his age, a guy who kept chatting about football, and then some irrelevant one.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the only ones to know is Cooper, our main guy, and then the leader.
Yeah.
That's probably it. I'm not going to lie. The other ones don't do anything that the others couldn't have done. You know what I mean?
They're so nondescript. I don't know how to describe it. Like, they do try and characterize them, but it's the fact that, of course, they're in the army, so they're all going to look kind of similar, and I'm just, like, not going to be able to tell them apart. Maybe that's a me problem, more than a film problem, but we'll find out.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I know film was a different time, and I understand, like, it's obviously they're in England, but the men are just so kind of the same. Like, oh God, I don't want to say this, but, like, they're all just white men. And they're very similar looking. And then the camo on top, even I was struggling.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be like, oh, is that so-and-so? And I'm like, I think I don't, because they look so similar.
Usually I'm really good at remembering names. This time, no.
Yeah, and even sometimes it would be following one character and it would cut to another character. And I couldn't tell if it had switched to a different character or if it was the same guy. And it was like a jump cut. And it would be a different guy. And I was like, fuck, I thought, I'm literally dead staring at him. It switches and I don't even realize the character changes.
Yeah.
But maybe that's on me. Maybe that's my own kind of blindness.
Again, if we had watched... The thing is, I was ill when we watched this as well. So, like, maybe if we had watched this in the cinema or in a different mindset or, you know what I mean, not ill, we would have gotten it. But we're not. We're watching it at home, now.
It just means camo works.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like by design that soldiers are not allowed to look distinct,
Yeah, they basically just make plans, move over, make plans. It's pretty much not important until they sit on one ledge where one of the soldiers tells a story.
Oh wait, can I just say, it is established that they are part of doing like a war games training exercise thing, and they're looking for another team.
Yeah, 2 teams dropped at random spots.
And they're being watched by the commander who shot the dog. And it looks like, I guessed in the beginning that they were just on different teams, but it's not true. So you find out.
The commander's not dressed as a teammate. So you do think like, oh, is he like a referee? Is this just like them? Because they got to observe their performance, right? So you think that's what it is at the time. But they get to this one ledge and one of the soldiers tells a story of what happened in these Scottish woods just a few days ago or weeks ago. And it was basically the story of the couple in the beginning. A couple, their camp was found covered in blood and guts. No one found out what happened to them.
And they get told, he also tells, a different one, tells like a story about how one of his mates in the army like got blown up by a bomb and the only thing that survived was like a laughing devil tattoo on his ass. Yeah,
a devil tattoo that the guy got. And this is kind of a message and a theme that they repeat multiple times.
Yeah.
But he says the friend got the tattoo because God wouldn't save him, but the devil would save his skin.
God will save my soul, the devil will save my flesh.
That's it, my flesh. And then he jokes that like, oh, it saved his flesh, just not all of it, because the tattoo was untouched.
Yeah.
But specifically, the most important part is at the end of the story, he says, it taught me to keep an open mind. And that message of like keeping an open mind and like leaving things get repeated multiple times. I'm not gonna lie, I've read a lot into this film. Not like read online, like when I was watching it, read a lot into it mentally. And that message for me just wasn't clicking with anything. Besides the fact that there were obviously...
Apart from, like, the werewolves later in the film.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, there's werewolves.
It's called Dog Soldiers, what did you expect?
Yeah, so there is a thing of, like, them finding out they're werewolves and them kind of being in disbelief.
Yeah.
But it's not a main theme enough for that whole open-minded line to get repeated, like, 3 times.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this getting repeated? Like... Anyway, so we hear that story. They all keep it on mind. We find out by some of their fears. We thought they'd be more relevant than they were. One is scared of not going to see his wife again, like dying.
One is scared of castration. One is scared of spider women.
Yeah, he says, I'm scared of spiders. But he says, scared of women and spiders. And spider women. Cute. When they tell that story about the devil skin, they're around a campfire. And at the end of the story, a fucking cow comes flying off of the cliff above them and lands onto their campsite.
Yeah.
It kind of splatters blood everywhere. One of the guys shoots his like blank rounds into the cow.
There's this
panicking.
one guy and he's constantly shooting shit.
Yeah,
I think it's the same guy every time because he's
trigger finger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were camping near this cliff, and so something has thrown this cow off of this cliff.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing to have like a whole. But they inspect the cow, and one of the guys says like, "Yeah, this is like almost teeth marks, but it's like a huge gash out the stomach." So like, what the fuck could have done this, right?
Yeah,
it's like a lion, you know. We've got nothing like that in the Scottish woods.
No, absolutely not. And they're like, well, that shooting is just giving away our location. We have to leave now. And so they go and they find another camp. Meanwhile, the sergeant, you know, the evil guy who shot the dog, he and his group get attacked.
Mm-hmm. And you don't quite see what by what.
No, you don't. But it's interesting because the other team, I think it's now the daytime, right?
Yeah.
The other team is kind of looking at the claw marks and prints and stuff like that, and the blood, I think, as well. And they're kind of accidentally tracking these wolves that have attacked this group.
They think it's the other team. Like, they see fur on, like, a tree, and they think, oh, they must have gone this way.
Yeah.
Not realising what they're doing. It's important later.
Yes. Does the team flare so that they find their location?
Yeah, someone else flares. And that's when they're like, what now? Like, what is this? So they head towards the flare, and that's when they find the base where the commander was attacked, and there's blood and guts everywhere.
People are just in bits.
But they do find that there are real supplies there. There's real... Because they've been using blanks, obviously, it's war games.
Yeah.
But they see real bullets, real grenades...
Nets, darts, all kinds of weird shit.
So they start kind of taking the stuff, thinking, oh, we should probably take this. I don't know what the fuck's happening here. Because they can see the blood and guts are real. But while they're going through it, the commander sort of goes and wakes up, and he's been lying underneath some rubble.
Yeah.
So presumably whoever attacked them, which we're thinking as the audience is a werewolf, right? Either missed him or forgot about him, or he was able to just sort of hide and not get noticed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although he is injured severely, and he's like, "Help me!" So they're trying to radio out for backup.
They're calling the backup,
but the radio isn't going out, and they realize their radio was sabotaged. As if they were meant to lose, or they weren't going to be allowed to win.
Yeah, so now they're like, all right, maybe we could find another radio here. It's very, like, high intensity, this scene.
It's like a weird chip in the radio.
Yeah. And the commander, in his delirium, keeps repeating, there was only supposed to be one.
Mm-hmm. So we're like, little conspiracy theorists, like, what is happening? Why was their radio sabotaged? Why was he saying about there was supposed to be one? Did he know about the werewolves?
I wrote my theory down.
Okay, let's see your theory.
My theory was that the command at the time, right, was that the commander knew about the werewolves and the other guys were bait.
That was also my theory at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was also my theory because there didn't seem at all to be a second team.
Yeah.
Even like the commander and his team weren't dressed like a team at all.
No.
So that was immediately my thing. I was like, oh my god, they were just bait.
If there were multiple teams that they were using at, you know what I mean, then why was the commander only tracking one? So like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Because you did bring that up and I was like, well, the thing is, if they were there by accident, then he would have had them flown out. But he didn't. He knew where they were, knew where they were going, and didn't have them flown out, didn't notify anyone. Well, he did notify someone, but not in a like a, oh, we have to be wary of them, in a sort of like, I've got them. And I'm like, okay. So that's our theory right now, because you have to wait to see if it's true. I will say, this is a lot longer than we're probably making it sound. This like open worry bit was really... It was a bit too long.
A lot happens in like a short amount of time, I feel like. Because I've already gone through my first page of notes.
See, I have too, but also I think that was way more minutes than we realised it was.
Maybe, yeah.
That's how
and I think we are cutting out a few like scenes of like talking and characterization.
But it feels different than like when we were reviewing like the Conjuring series, and it's like it feels like nothing happens for a long time. It felt like important stuff, but it was long.
He also keeps saying, they won't die, kind of discouraging them from taking the bullets, because he's literally saying they're not going to die anyway. And then they hear howls, and they start running, because they're being chased by these beasts.
Yeah, they also take the injured commander.
They kind of split up a little bit, like, and fan out, and one of the older two guys, I think his name is Bruce, he gets speared through the torso by a tree branch.
Yeah, he runs into it, running away from a werewolf.
How the fuck do you run into a tree branch? Like, do you know what I mean? And get speared like that.
I know, it was a big one too. It wasn't like a sharp, pointy one. It was like a big, thick...
And also, I thought that soldiers were wearing, like, tactical gear. Like, wouldn't there be something protecting him?
I don't know if he had, like, a... But you're right, if he did have, like something, like any kind of bulletproof vest or something like that, that is even crazier.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, because aren't the clothes supposed to be hard to rip? And it not only tore through the clothes, but then tore through the whole flesh heart underneath and out the back. Yes, it was unrealistic, but you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind an unrealistic horror death.
Yeah, it was cool.
It reminded me of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. There's a very similar scene.
I was thinking about Dead Snow when his intestines get caught on the tree branch and he's running for a bit with the intestines hanging out.
Oh, well, that's more like the next scene.
I know.
With this scene, it's Tucker Dale. It's an actual guy like running into a tree stump the same way.
Yeah. Then the leader, so he kind of reunites with the group a bit, and the leader gets kind of slashed in the stomach with a claw, and his like intestines are falling out.
Like they look like sausages.
Yeah, and he's like holding them in his arms, and Cooper finds him, and he's like, save Bruce, but like Cooper's like, Bruce is dead. Like,
yeah.
I need to save you. And so he's helping him up, and
he's like, I'm good as gone. My like intestines are hanging out. He injects him with what looks like a vial full of like morphine or something.
Yeah.
And then he shoves his guts back into his stomach.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, like obviously, and then he holds his stomach closed and like picks him up, and they're like limping away together.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're kind of seeing the werewolf at this point.
Yeah.
And they just keep shooting it back. So the bullets aren't stopping the werewolf, but it seems to kind of delay it or push it back a little. You know, kind of like, I don't know, if you're like pushing someone away from you. So it just becomes this long scene of them running through the woods.
Fire, if you will.
Shooting it back a few steps, running, shooting it back, running. Also, I do think, it gets confirmed a little bit more better, but I do think you can kind of start to tell now that there are like 2+ wolves.
Yeah, there's a pack of them.
Yeah.
Then we see a car driving on the road, and kindly the car stops and all the soldiers get in the back and they drive away, and there's this woman driving. She's a civilian. She
like heard their radio or something. I can't remember what her excuse was.
Yeah.
But as they're trying to get away, the wheel gets stuck in the mud and the werewolf jumps on top of the car.
Yeah.
And it sort of rips its arm
It's got
through...
like a canvas roof, doesn't it? And so like the arm is like through the canvas roof and it's reaching out to grab all of these guys, and one of the guys like stabs it in the arm, but then the wolf's trying to pull his arm back out because it's been stabbed and it's like stuck. The knife is like making it stuck on there.
The knife is too wide for the hole.
Yeah, and then eventually the knife like falls out.
Yeah. And I can't tell if like it just fell out of his arm
or he pulled it out,
or if it like, or through trying to pull his arm out, the knife sliced through his entire wrist and through the middle of his fingers, which was also a very frightening thought.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's disgusting.
I don't think it did.
But also, they were so useless because the woman is trying to get the car to go, but it's stuck in the mud. But she can't do anything. She can only...
If you've got a canvas roof, right, then you know that your bullets will just go through it. Why don't you just shoot upwards?
You have all these soldiers in the back. There's like 6 of them, and they're all just like screaming and freaking out.
They brought the Sarge with them, by the way, the evil Sarge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So they're all these men in the back freaking out, telling her to go, and it's like, bro, you do something.
Yeah.
I will say this part is very interesting because she does not seem freaked out.
Yeah.
She's stressed. But she doesn't seem freaked. I'm like, you've just, seen distress, come driving to the point, and now you're seeing a werewolf, and it's attacking your car, and you're stuck, and she's not not scared.
Yeah.
Not distressed. She's sort of just like tense. And I was like, what's going on? Instantly did not trust her.
No. She's like, oh, the only place nearby is my neighbour's and blah, blah, blah. And so we're like, okay, drive there then. So she drives to their house and they're like, where are they? They go and they, like, investigate this house, right? And it seems to be, like, abandoned or, you know what I mean? They left in a hurry.
But recently.
Yeah, because the stew is still on the boil and there's a dog there. Like, they wouldn't have left
And the
them.
lights are on.
Yeah.
But it's weird.
Weird.
Really, really weird. They even, like, go through the stuff and one of them finds, like, a sword. Which comes back later.
Yeah. They kind of think that they're safe for a while. So, like, they have guys still on guard-ish. But they kind of, like, grab some stew and eat. And, like, one of them's trying to sort the leader out and, like, stitch him up a little bit. 2
of the soldiers go out to check the car because they're thinking, okay, we need to move or something.
Yeah.
When they go out there are 2 werewolves on the other side of the car at a distance. And so they slowly approach the car, holding up their guns to the werewolves.
Yeah.
And the car is completely intact, except for...
the engine is ripped to pieces.
Out of the boot. Which this is your first proper sign. I mean, if not right at the beginning when you see that one of the werewolves opens a tent zip.
Yeah.
That obviously kind of gives it away. But this is the confirmation that, like, these werewolves have somewhat human intelligence. That they would leave the entire car unscathed, but only go for the engine. They knew exactly...
almost taunting them,
Yeah, it's kind of like whenever you start like a werewolf movie, a vampire movie, or even a zombie movie, there's always like waiting to find out what kind it is, And so with this werewolf, it's the same thing. It's like, and you're realizing that, okay, this is the semi-human, kind of like mid-intelligence kind of werewolf.
I would say even high intelligence.
I think so too. It's hard to tell because... and I can say this at this point, but the werewolves are obviously as intelligent as a human.
Yeah.
But they still have this drive to kill. So I'm like, how much of their intelligence do you have to get rid of to have that drive to kill? Because at the end of the day, if they were fully human intelligence, I'd be like, oh, this is such a waste of time. I'm getting shot full of bullets. I'm just going to go hunt some animals or go prey on someone who's easier target. But they have to like have this animalistic murderous instinct that is fighting against their intelligence to a degree.
To a degree. They can still remember the engine is what makes a car go and how to open a tent and stuff like that.
But they still got dog brains where they're like, I like hunting, chase.
Yeah.
You know? Which is quite interesting. It's like a instinct versus intelligence kind of conversation.
Well, they run back in the house and the werewolves are trying to get in and there's a bit of a bad panic, right? And in the mad panic, like, they're like trying to stop these werewolves from getting in. They're like, hands are kind of coming through the door a bit. And the dog starts munching on the intestines that are out of the leader. Yeah,
the leader is still alive, by the way.
Yeah. And the dog is like holding it. It's like a string of sausages and the dog is like on the end of it.
It's giving tug of war.
It's almost comical.
It is comical.
Yeah.
So funny. They get the intestines, not sausages, but the intestines out of the dog's mouth. But then the dog is barking. And then you sort of notice that the werewolf kind of backed off once the dog started barking. Yeah. Which is an interesting point. The dog doesn't really bark ever again. Yeah. But yeah, the werewolf's arms are stuck in the door. It goes away. And then
one of the guy vomits on the evil sergeant's head.
The evil sergeant... Well, yeah, the evil sergeant goes to shoot the dog. Yeah. Because it wouldn't stop barking. But then, yeah, someone else vomits on his head because...
He just ate loads of stew and then had to see a guy's intestines out of his body.
Oh, I would chant though.
Oh, absolutely.
But also, it feels kind of satisfying that the dog killer got vomited on, you know?
Oh, it's so satisfying. I loved it. They've kind of under siege now because they can kind of spot the wolves outside waiting for them. And so what they do is they board up the windows, they like arm up, they check like supplies and stuff. Like they pick up that sword properly and like swing it around a bit. They take the leader upstairs, don't they? Mm-hmm. And they put him in a bed.
And they glue his intestines back. Yeah. They basically shove them in and super glue his skin. And that's when she reveals she's a zoologist. And she had heard rumours of like what was happening in these woods. That there was apparently some sort of beast. Yeah. A lycanthrope, whatever. And so she came to investigate. She was curious.
Oh, her name is Megan.
Mm-hmm. So she kind of knew something, you know? Which starts to explain how she's acting so normal in all of this, but also doesn't fully. Because even if you did come to study this, like, you didn't come to die. Why are you not more stressed?
It's interesting because a lot of this movie takes place in this house, and there's like pockets of like peace and quiet in between like fights that happen with the werewolves. Yeah. Because like after they have this like info dump about the werewolves and how like she thinks, you know, she's been studying them for years and they're a pack and, you know, she thinks this and that about them. The werewolves are back again. They managed to shut down the power and all the lights.
Mm-hmm. And they keep talking as well about what to do, and these men keep iterating kind of the same shit. I mean, the evil guy is sort of like, we're doomed, give up, like we need to run or whatever. The woman seems to not be in a rush to fight or run. Yeah. And yet the soldiers repeat the same sentiment every time, which is sort of, we stand here and we fight. It's kind of why they stopped at the house. You know, they were sort of like, oh, we're going to sit here and board up. And then a little bit later on, they're like, we're going to fight them back. And they say that like multiple times. It's just this mindset of like, well, we could run, but we're going to fight. We could run, but we're going to fight. Over and over again, this mindset. I don't think
they're under the impression that they can run, though. Because as soon as the Jeep is gone, and she says the nearest town is 4 hours away, right? Mm-hmm. They're kind of very much aware that if they go on foot, they're fucked, really. You know? And they've got 2 injured people with them.
Well, then, here's the thing. Before the car is even destroyed, they say that they should fight. And even afterwards, on multiple occasions, they've spoken about like, oh, should we try and bunker down? Should we try and this or whatever? And it's been like, no, we're going to get them. In fact, like I have a direct quote, which is, we stand here and fight. Again, just because this mindset gets repeated over and over and over again until literally the very end, where it's like, I'm giving my life for this, or like, I'm staying here until the end, or I'm going to sacrifice myself to save you, or I'm going out to help him. Even though it's like, no, preserve yourself. Like, play smart. Like, focus more on defense. And it's just been like, it's just this soldier mentality that they have throughout the entire film.
They have to fight. Mm-hmm. Because they've already, like, they train soldiers to be like a fight or die all the time, and that's why they have so many issues once they come out of the army, because they're still in that kind of like survival mode. That's
why they wouldn't leave behind the guy with the intestines hanging out. Yeah. Or put him out of his misery, because it's like, I'll do anything for this guy, even though he's practically a goner. Although, we're sat here in disbelief that he's still alive.
The whole movie, we're like, why is this guy still alive?
His intestines have been all over the floor.
His intestines have been out. They've been chewed on by a dog. He's high as a fucking kite because they gave him whiskey and super glued him back together. And he's got the morphine in his system. Like, he's so dead.
So fucking dead. But he's alive. And although we do see him kind of go at one point, And I can't remember which explicit point it was, so I'll say it now. But there is a point where they keep going through these waves of like quiet and then fighting. But he goes, Cooper goes up to the leader and he says, "They're your team now."
Yeah.
And he seems to sort of pass
He
out.
like kisses the picture of his wife and stuff. And
then Cooper goes downstairs. But we'll get back to that later, what happens with that. The power gets outed, like you said. The werewolves take out the power. Again, we're like human intelligence.
They're shooting through the boards in the windows. At one point, they use a sword to like slice a bit of the werewolf off, which is fun. In the like leader's room, one of the werewolves gets in through the window, and they discover it like right before it gets to the Sarge, and they have to like shoot it out of the room.
Yeah, it's a very creepy shot because the camera is angled to the side.
Yeah,
and it's sort of got this like lanky body, and it's winding.
Well, it's great because all the light is coming from the window, so it's like a blue light that's coming through, and then you see this monstrous form as well, and then you can see the sergeant, and he's like, "Oh my fucking god," you know?
Yeah. Also, there's implied to be like quite a few werewolf eventually as well, but I feel like you never see more than 2.
Yeah,
and I feel like that might have been a costume restriction. I think they might have been reusing costumes.
I don't find werewolves particularly scary, and so to do a werewolf movie well, I think you have to do it in a unique way, right? So Ginger Snaps did that really well, I thought, because it's like about puberty and all that kind of stuff. And this one also does it interestingly, I think, because you don't see too much of it. You don't see too much of the werewolf. Like, you do see bits of them, but you don't see all of it all the time. And the fact that they have such dark lighting, which normally I'm not the biggest fan of because of my visual impairment, but in this one I can see it works quite well because you can still see the important parts.
Yeah, I'd say for the majority of the film, when they're fighting the werewolves, it's just werewolf arms through doors and windows, trying to reach in, trying to get them. It's a constant
encroaching threat, and they're like trapped. It's almost claustrophobic. I think they could have leaned more into that, but they don't.
Agreed. Actually, yeah, I think they do. Don't like lean into it because they do this thing where they sort of slowly unveil certain rooms of the house to us, where it does feel like the house is getting bigger. So it really does fight against the claustrophobic feeling. Yeah, and I agree. It could have been cooler if they did. For me, I agree with you. Like, werewolf films, I don't typically find scary. What I think is scary about a werewolf film, if you want to make it scary, the 2 things that you can harp on is 1, body horror, which is the transformation. It's the breaking of the human body. That can be quite scary. And the other thing I think is frightening about werewolf, it's like the game Werewolf. It's the fact that they're among you.
Yeah,
it could be your friend. You could be literally running from a beast, and you could sit in a wardrobe together, being like, "You okay, girl? You okay?"
And then she just bites your head off.
And then she just suddenly starts to transform.
Yeah,
that fear of like it could be anyone around you, and also like any moment someone could just go from innocent or weak or beatable to just this unbeatable beast, or suddenly the enemy. Those 2 things I think are the fear. And all horror is like political and shit and emotional and plays on our psyche. And that's definitely, I think werewolves are part of that fear that like anyone can suddenly become and transform into a beast or something negative in our lives.
Oh no, absolutely.
Even if they were genuinely, honest to God, a good person, they can become infected by others or have their mind changed. Yeah. Yeah, I think all of the horror basics or horror classics like werewolves, vampires, stuff like zombies represent.
No, definitely, they all have like roots in different human fears.
Yeah. Can I say what I have written here? This is quite funny to me. So, like we said, they're doing a lot of back and forth of like arms and werewolves coming in, them shooting them away, the werewolves going away, them having little conversations and chats about what to do, and also unveiling certain things. Yeah. I wrote here that they find out that they were wolf bait.
And we were right the whole time.
Yeah. But that's not true.
What?
So where I wrote this in my notes, the evil Sarge guy says something that confirms it basically, right? Yeah. And the soldiers kind of like realize they don't like him. So I thought they realized it then, because I did. I was like, oh, that confirms it. Yeah. They must know. But, and we'll get to it later, but later on,
there's a different revelation, and then they figure it out.
And I was like, remember telling you, I was like, they just figured it out.
It's like, this isn't the bomb under the table. The bomb's on the table, and you're looking at it.
You were even confused, because I remember I said it to you when they finally found out, and you thought I was telling you that's what happened, and you were like, yeah, but that already happened. I'm like, no, like, they just found out. I knew, obviously you knew. They just found out.
You're so fucking stupid.
But it looks like they did, because, again, he says something that kind of reveals it, and they get really mean against him. So now they tie him up. Yeah. And they're like,
we can't trust you.
We can't trust you. Also, his mood does change, and this is when you pointed out. Yeah. About the evil Sarge.
Oh, I thought that he got scratched, because that was what his wound was, right?
Because he was heavily injured after werewolf attack. He's
not been completely encumbered this entire movie. Like, as soon as they get to the house, he's basically walking and talking like everybody else. Yeah. You know, and he's not limping like he was before. And
no one's given him medical aid, and yet somehow he's healthier than he was.
And so I thought that he'd been scratched and he's going to turn into a werewolf. And I think that's kind of like a very obvious twist to have your like evil person turn into the thing that you hate, you know.
And that's part of the werewolf thing I'm talking about, where he's in the house the entire time.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden a monster appears from the inside out. It's no longer a danger outside. It's now from the inside out.
I do think there's a better example of this later on, but I agree with you completely. And then Megan talks about how she thinks that they only come out during the full moon, so they just need to wait till sunrise. And I believe they've got, is it 4 or 6 hours till sunrise? Something like that. And then, conveniently, she was like, oh, does anyone know how to hotwire a car? Because there's a Land Rover in the garage. I'm like, you should have mentioned that first.
You have a second car?
Like, come on. You should have mentioned that, like, basically as soon as you figured out that there was nobody in the house to help you. Anyway, they have, like, a plan, and they kind of try... I'm not going to go over the whole scene, but they have like a decoy and then they're getting someone into the car.
A guy goes out of our house with the rope. Yoo-hoo! Werewolf comes running at him. They pull him back in. Secretly, second guy sneaks around to the garage.
Yeah.
But when he gets into the van, he tries to start it.
Yeah.
The second werewolf is in front of the van, eating their friend that they took earlier.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention someone got taken.
I know, I saw it in my notes and I saw you went ahead and I was like, I'll reveal the body and then I'll tell you how it happened.
Yeah.
But the way that they got him, let me be very quick. They just dragged him out the fucking house. Yeah. That's how they got him. But one thing that is important about that scene when it happened, he gets dragged out by the werewolves. Man is gone. Yeah. But even like a minute later after this man has been taken by 2 werewolves and is long, long gone, Cooper still goes, I'm going out there to get him. And he tries to leave. And it's then that the evil Sarge talks him down. Because the evil Sarge, we know now they were bait, right? And the evil Sarge is representative of the government who uses soldiers as cannon fodder, right? So the Sarge the entire time has seen them as dispendable? Yeah. Just like he sees dogs. Like, you can kill an innocent dog. Life doesn't matter. Or at least someone else's life doesn't. So he's the one who has to keep saying things like to Cooper, like, he's gone, he's dead, leave him. Like, abandon him. Whereas Cooper cannot, as someone who signed up, cannot break his brain out of the camaraderie and the idea that, like, I can't, like, survivor's guilt. Like, I cannot stop trying to help him if I'm still alive.
It very much plays into that like hero mentality that a lot of, I think, new recruits sign up for, especially. I don't think many soldiers stay like that, but I think a lot of them start off believing like that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
I mean, that's the point of the film.
It's really interesting. Like, I think that maybe it's kind of like a reflection of how people who have completely bought into propaganda will operate. Like, they'll put themselves at risk. And you know what? The thing is it also goes to show that Cooper is just a genuinely, like, empathetic person. And he wants to be helpful and stuff. But the fact is that you're gonna die in the process if you do it that way.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy gets dragged out. And so now we're seeing him being eaten in front of this Range Rover. Was it Range Rover? Land Rover. And then the werewolf decapitates the body and throws the head at the window.
Yeah.
And the guy freaks out and he sort of drives very messily out of the garage and drives towards the house. And he backs up the back of the van to the house. And obviously all the soldiers are cheering, thinking, oh my God, the car's here. We can go. Yeah. But the driver, they don't know this, but separately the driver who just pulled up the van sat in the van and he hears breathing behind him.
Oh yeah, and you can see like you can see it in the air as well.
The vapor.
Cool. Yeah.
And he goes, "You're behind me." This bit is lame.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. He goes, "You're behind me, aren't you?" And he turns around. I think he has a knife. I don't know what he had, but then he lunges at the werewolf. Like, what does he say? It's some lame ass shit.
I'm sorry. I would have tried to get out of the car. Why would you fight?
You laughed at him when he did it too. But he was like,
"What are you gonna do against a werewolf?" Let's be honest. The werewolf is gonna have a harder time either getting out of the car and following you or climbing over the seats to get you, right?
Yeah.
Then you coming to him. You want to get the fuck out.
But it's the soldier mindset that they have, where they just like, and this happens multiple times, where they just kind of refuse to run and want to fight.
If you were really freaky, you would have just pressed the gas and driven into a tree and seen if the werewolf will fly forward so you can get them properly.
Because they see shame in deserting, you know? And that's another big like mentality of these military people. To give up, to run away, to leave everyone else, to not fight the thing is shameful. That's the word. It's shameful. And they just keep doing this over and over again.
You could, like, more of these men could have lived and they could have saved more human life if they were actually concerned with saving their lives.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's the point, you know? Or if it's just like a man movie made by men, you know?
No, I do think it's a military message.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't know that he's been killed. Yeah. So they open up the front door and it's literally right to the back of the van. He pulled right up.
Yeah.
So they open up the back of the van doors and blood pours out. Like, just pours and pours.
I like that shot. I think it's really cool.
You know what's so niche? But the shot reminded me of Charlie the Chocolate Factory, the newer one, not the newest one, the one with
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, when they go to the candy area,
Yeah.
and one of them like stomps on a piece of giant candy.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's gooey inside.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. I don't know why the texture was so similar, because it had bits of bone and clothes and just dirt.
Yeah.
And it poured out like goo. And obviously everyone freaks out, looks up, and there's the werewolf. It screams. They shut the front door, run back inside.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they're fucked, right? Is basically what they say.
Yeah.
And then around this point, now I'm not gonna lie, there were so many men running around in camo that we didn't even notice when it happened. But at some point, the captain, who had his intestines hanging out, rejoins the party around this time. He's like, seems to be better. He's like, oh yeah, I feel better.
I don't even remember this.
I don't know what's happening. They're sort of like, how are you doing this? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm not leaving you on your own to fight.
Yeah.
We were confused. Honestly, I'm kind of feel dumb that we didn't clock. But he does have a talk up against the window with Cooper.
Yes.
And he reveals his stitches where they had glued him up.
Yeah, and they've healed.
He's like, this is normal. And that's when we obviously clock. Oh shit,
Yeah.
yes, no shit. He was fucking scratched open by a werewolf.
Yeah. Just like the fucking other guy.
He's infected.
Yeah.
That's why he was able to live through having his intestines like torn about, pushed back inside multiple times, glued with super glue, because he had fucking werewolf disease in him, healing all of his wounds.
But he's not a dickhead like the other guy, and so he's like, I'm gonna help you guys as much as possible until I turn into them.
Yeah.
Basically.
Also around this time too,
That's when we get the reveal properly.
the zoologist woman, kind of slightly before this, but she cuts her hand on some glass.
Yeah.
And she looks at the wound so intentionally, and I don't understand why, but I think it has something to do with what gets revealed.
Yeah. So this is when the soldiers realise that the special forces was using them as bait to catch this werewolf.
Yeah. And I was so confused watching this scene, because I was like, but they already knew. I thought they knew earlier. And that's when I realised, like, they really aren't smart.
No.
And this isn't against them. Like, it's probably quite accurate. The fact that they're just meatheads who signed up to give their lives away. And they say this. They have literally said, there's one point where the leader says, like, I already agreed to die when I signed up, with pride. And this is after finding out he was used as bait. He still has this sentiment that, like, his life is worthless.
Can I say, the second reveal is giving, like, Netflix's, like, make movies for people who are scrolling on TikTok at the same time. Like...
Yes, but also,
Yeah.
the people scrolling TikTok were the soldiers, apparently. I guess the thing is, the first quote-unquote reveal technically wasn't a reveal.
Yeah.
We already had the suspicion.
Yeah.
And so what he said was like, oh, that's 100% true then. That's what he did.
It just confirmed our suspicion, but these guys wouldn't be thinking that.
Whereas for them, I
Yeah.
think they didn't have that suspicion. So they would just... So once he gave the first reveal, to us it was confirmation. To them, it was probably just confusion.
Yeah.
And just sort of realizing that they can't trust him. And then later on, they have it spelled out to them. We also find out, I'm just going to rope this in as well, that the evil guy and the zoologist know each other.
Yes.
She was hired to go out with his group on an earlier expedition as like a specialist. And this time, their team, it's exactly what we said, their team was sent out to track down the wolf, because he knew that those specific men he chose wouldn't be able to resist basically being tryhards, and they would go after the werewolf, and that they would be able to sit from a distance and capture the wolf.
It's almost like the dog test 4 weeks earlier was him picking out the most heroic guys he could find to, like, then, use as werewolf bait, because they're going to try and save each other and all going to fucking die.
Yeah.
Which is what you just said.
It's true, but also the test, and I'll say this in a second, but I'll say they wanted to capture the werewolf because there was some sort of company or the government wanted to
They
train
want to make
them.
weapons.
Yeah, surprise. But with that testing, he does confirm that basically the dog test had to do with if you were willing to give up someone else's life. Because if you were willing to kill an innocent dog for no reason, then you would be willing to let fellow soldiers die for no reason. Because he says to Cooper, if you were able to shoot that dog, you would have been on my team.
And you would have been dead.
And you would have been dead because his team died.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he did that test with people, and those that killed the dog and were ruthless and willing to just follow orders no matter who would get hurt ended up being on the special forces, and anyone who wouldn't ended up on the bait team. Crazy. Essentially, like you said, the people who were nicer, the people who had more of a heart or too much of a heart, were used as bait.
Very metaphorical, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, exactly. It's that thing of the higher ups using soldiers as cannon fodder, using them as human meat shields, not giving a damn about their life, and it's happening now.
And in this bit, the Captain Ryan, the evil one, he changes into a werewolf,
and they stab him through the chest with a sword.
Yes. And then he runs off.
And he runs out the window.
And then Megan's like, oh, there might be a wolf den nearby if they behave like real wolves. So it would be, like, warm, but, like, near their prey and, like, you know, covered a bit. And then they're like, oh, it's, like, the shed or the garage, isn't it?
Yeah, the garage. I believe it is.
Yeah.
So they come up with a plan to blow it up. And they are sort of like, not all going to be in there.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, even if we get some, it'll be better than nothing. So they sort of fill up the truck
with gasoline. And
then which I'm also like, why didn't they just try to run in and drive it away?
Also, what normal house has that amount of gasoline in it? I guess it's in the middle of the sticks, but still.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the sticks. That's probably why.
Okay.
Like she said, the nearest thing was like 4 miles.
4 hours.
4 hours. There you go. So you're gonna have your own petrol. You're gonna stack up.
4 miles. You could walk 4 miles. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. 4 miles isn't that far. But actually, you know what? No.
4 hours is away.
Yeah. 4 hours is super far. But yeah, you're gonna have your own petrol canisters. You're gonna have your own gas for your house. You're gonna have all of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, like she said, she packed up to come study. So, like, it's no surprise she had a bunch of supplies. But they put these canisters into the truck. And then I believe it's the leader who was infected with the werewolf. He says that he wants to drive it because he wants to blow up because he knows that he's eventually going to become a werewolf. Actually, no, I think he tries to do it, but they basically are like, no, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And they find a way to basically shoot the truck on a brick on the pedal, whatever. I cannot remember. This is so bad. But they shoot the truck into the...
It's also really dark. Like...
Yeah.
I can't tell. The thing is, most of the movie I could see all the important bits. This part, nothing.
Also, it's an action, so it's like a lot happening very quickly.
Yeah.
But the truck goes into the den, blows up.
Yeah.
But didn't do much because there weren't really any werewolves in there.
Yeah. And then this is the bit where Megan reveals that she's been a werewolf the whole time.
I'm not gonna lie.
Quelle surprise.
It was given lame. She thought she was so bad.
Yeah.
She literally, like, she stands there, like, they close the front door. I think it's after, like, looking out at the den. And... she steps backwards and they look at her like, what are you doing? And she thinks she's so cool. And she's like, you know, I didn't ask to be in this fucked up family.
Yeah.
But, you know, dinner time's got to come. Something like that. Like she has
like 3 of them though. She like, it's all lines that you expect to be used in like the trailer. And it's like, this one. And then pause, like dramatic pause. This one, dramatic pause. And then the one I remember, it's like, I guess it's that time of the month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a better example of what you mentioned before about werewolves being scary, like it could be anyone. Yeah. But also, they've done it in such a lame way that, like, I don't care.
Yeah, see, this one to me was so on the nose that I didn't think it was like... I mean, it's a good example of it happening.
Yeah.
But I think a better use was definitely the villain. Because that one creeps up on you a bit more. And you weren't really suspicious of him for that. It was red herring. You were suspicious of him because he used them as bait, because he was mean to them, because he was willing to let them die. That's why you're suspicious of him. So you're not even thinking about him being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I'm sure someone else would be like, he's a type of werewolf, he's going to turn right from the beginning, sure. But with her, I was already suspicious from her for so long.
She was too calm.
Yeah. Like, to the point where I thought...
And she would reveal things very conveniently.
I thought the reveal was going to be that, like, she had been studying them and she wanted to either, one, get herself infected, or two, she wanted to, like, observe and watch them get eaten. And that she actually knew a way out or could get out or save herself somehow.
Yeah.
But no, she was just werewolf. And I don't know how she was suppressing it. I don't know. She does throw something on the floor, and I don't know what it is, but they cut to it.
I'm running out of time.
They literally cut her on the floor. So it must have been, I don't know if she had an amulet on. I don't know if she was suppressing it somehow. But she steps backwards, and as you say, she says, I guess it's that time of the month, lame ass bitch. And she...
A period joke, really?
She turns her head down and she lifts her head back up, and she's got like werewolf eyes, and she's like, rah. And before she can even finish the rah, she gets shot in the head and falls on her ass. It was embarrassing, and she deserved it. She thought she was so cool. Oh, mind you, as she's stepping back and transforming, 3 or 2 werewolf silhouettes appear behind her.
It's like the one meme with the couch and the porn star.
Yeah, she's like, I have scary dog privilege. Anyway, so she lifts up her head, she tries to transform, shot in the head, immediately falls on her ass. Hilarious. I fucking loved it. She was so fucking lame. Who do you think you are? I'm gonna have my sickening moment. And she's just dead. I just thought it's so quick. She's like, raps, gone.
Love it.
So good. Sorry.
Then there's like a big fight because now the werewolves are actually in the house. They all get split up. There's one in there's 2 upstairs. There's the leader and Cooper, and the leader's like stuck in the bathroom, and Cooper's like in an adjoining room next to it.
Yeah.
And then there's one guy in the kitchen. The other guys, I think they're fucking dead. I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, I think I had it down as like the bathroom fight, which is Cooper, he's locked in the bathroom.
Yeah.
The kitchen fight, which...
No, I thought the leader was locked in the bathroom. I don't know.
Cooper's locked in the bathroom.
Okay.
The leader is
in that dark room with the little glow stick in its mouth.
Yeah, that's the leader.
Oh, I got mixed up.
But I will say about these fights, the most distinct things I had to think about them. One is the kitchen fight. which is with a kind of irrelevant guy that we didn't even name.
He uses like pots and pans and stuff. Does he not use the sword at some point? No, he doesn't, because it's stuck in that guy's chest.
But one thing I loved about the kitchen fight was that and I kind of joked about this earlier, when the werewolves for a long time in the film are scratching and clawing through the windows and the doors, trying to grab them, trying to bite them. And there's one point where the guy's like held up against the wall and there's an arm coming through the window, and the werewolf kind of almost like stops for a moment and thinks, and then just punches him, and it just like fully works. Like it was almost like the werewolf was thinking like, wait, why do I keep trying to like claw? Why don't I just like throw a punch? And it works. And I was like, that's genius. And that kind of happens in this kitchen fight where he's basically fist fighting this werewolf. Yeah. He throws pots and pans. He literally is pulling his arms up, going back and forth. But the werewolf is like entertaining it. The werewolf will like punch back. And then when he would throw something like particularly, like at one point he starts stabbing the werewolf really aggressively. Yeah. And then the werewolf kind of just picks him up and throws him to the other side of the room.
Doesn't he kill him after he gets stabbed? Like he stabs really aggressively and then the guy just gets killed?
Not immediately. Okay. No, the werewolf literally picks him up and then just like, almost not gently, but just without intent to kill, throws him over the table.
Oh no, I remember that being really gentle as well, actually.
Yeah. Because it was like the werewolf was entertaining this. The werewolf could have killed him ages ago.
Yeah. He's
the
playing
werewolf,
with his food.
He was entertaining this fist fight. But I just loved that guy because I was like, you know what? Good on you. He was sat there proper just like fist fighting this werewolf like, I'm going to go down. Mind you, the werewolf has the strength of like 10 men. Yeah. Yeah. And in the bathroom, he breaks the sink, but that's not really relevant. And then there's a cute scene where the leader
uses like a can of hairspray as a flamethrower, which is kind of slay.
Yeah. I've done that before. I've done that to kill spiders.
You know, it's really dangerous because then if you do it wrong, the flame will go up and then the can will explode in your hands.
Yeah, I've heard that. But also I'm terrified of spiders. Mind you, I don't condone necessarily killing them, but like I was left alone and it was massive things you've ever seen. It's happened like 3 times in my life and I cannot get near them. Like genuinely, like I have like heart attack, but they were in the bathroom. This is back when I was like a teenager. Yeah. They were in the bathroom and I needed to go, you know? And not, you know, an easy, you couldn't just do it in a shower, if you know what I mean.
No, I'm just like, I wonder, was there like a burn mark of the spider when you got it?
The thing is, no, but can I tell you something?
What?
They pop. And the thing is, that should tell you why I needed to do it, because they were big enough to pop. Let me tell you that. I would never do it with like a daddy long one or something. In fact, I feel bad that I even did it, but literally like panic attack, needing to go. You ever had a panic attack with 4 bowels?
Yeah. That's mad. Anyway.
The guy downstairs dies, so it's just the leader and Cooper left. They end up in the same room because the leader basically breaks the wall between the bathroom and the bedroom that he's in. Yes, the leader's in the bedroom because that's how they end up in the bedroom.
Yeah, and then they get in the closet. I remember that. Yeah. And then you were like, are they going to kiss?
Yeah, and in the bottom of the closet,
there's bones.
A bunch of bones. Mind you, I feel like we skipped over it too quickly, but when Megan reveals she's a werewolf, she does imply that she's somehow like, this is her family and she feeds them regularly. Yeah. Also, there was implication, we found a family photo in this cabin and there was kind of this like, oh, this is the werewolf family. It was a family that somehow turned into werewolves. Yeah. So she's one of them, I guess.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, but there's bones in the bottom of the closet, so we're realizing, oh yeah, they really do just be hunting people like this.
But they somehow like dig down or like,
I'll tell you what they do. I wrote this down. They use their guns, so they sit in the wardrobe and they shoot the floor in like a circle, in like you would in a cartoon. Yeah. And so the floor breaks beneath them and they fall into the kitchen. I thought that was really fun. Yeah. I thought it was great, especially when you have a horror that's based in a house. We've seen so many of them, there's only so much you can do. Yeah. To have someone who's literally stuck in the bedroom suddenly plunge downwards, break the rules of reality into the kitchen was so fun. And again, it broke that claustrophobic feeling. Yeah. Because it felt like we could go anywhere and do anything.
I think it would have been a bigger release had they not been revealing different rooms of the house the entire movie.
Agreed. But this was the one use of like breaking claustrophobia that I liked.
The one use of guns I liked.
Yeah. So they're in the kitchen, and this is basically where the leader is like, I'm going to turn into a werewolf. I'm basically gone. Yeah. You could still live though. And I don't know how he knew this, or maybe we were supposed to know this. And
his eyes were turning red, so...
Oh, no, not that. Okay. I meant we don't know I knew this because I don't think we were paying attention. But there is a trap door in the kitchen under the rug that leads to the basement. We didn't know about it. It was probably just us missing it. I felt like we missed it. There was so much happening in this and we couldn't tell who was who. But he puts Cooper in the basement, closes it over, and then he cuts the gas wire to leak gas into the room. And he picks out his lighter. But as he does, the werewolves come in and they walk in sort of like, what's up, G? Like they've got this like swagger to them.
They're like, coming home.
They do.
The house is a wreck now.
And they smack the lighter out of his hand. And at this point, his eyes are fully werewolf. Yeah. But he uses his last bit of humanity to reach over to the stovetop and press the flint.
Lord, yes.
And it goes, boom. Cooper's in the basement. House implodes.
Yeah, explodes.
Yeah, why does it implode?
Implodes when he goes inward.
I know, why does it implode? Whatever word I said before just sounded good to go into M instead of X. So it explodes, and Cooper's sort of underneath. As the house is settling, he starts bumping into bodies because he didn't see it because it was so dark before.
We find the team that was there before, the Special Forces team led by Evil Guy, and they're hung up upside down like you would in a butcher shop with pigs.
And can I say what I love about this scene?
Yeah.
Is when he goes down to the basement first, it's pitch black dark. That's why he doesn't notice them. But the reason he can see now is because the house above him has been obliterated, and there's just natural sunlight now seeping into the basement.
Daytime now, it's just the sun's just risen.
Exactly. But that's why he can see now. I don't know. That was such a cool thing that, like, to be in the basement that's pitch black dark, and then the entire building on top of you basically ceases to exist.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite shots of the movie.
Right, and then all the sun is coming through the cracks of what is now like the foundation of the house into the basement. Love that. But as he's bouncing to bodies, that is when...
Or he has to face off against the final werewolf, which is the evil guy, because you can tell it's him because he's got the sword through his fucking chest.
Which was cute. It was given that... It's a classic thing used when it comes to, like, beast movies.
It's like, oh, you're safe. No, you're not. There's one last one.
But they always do it with... the classic thing that they use is, like, the big beast or the beast that they always want to catch has a mark.
Yeah.
Like, it's always like, oh, a clipped ear or a scratched eye from their, like, previous encounter. That's how I know that's the wolf that took my ear, you know? And that was that moment. It was the sword that gave away. I just thought it was cute.
It was cute.
I thought it was cute. Yeah. They have a fight, and then the fucking worst moment in this whole fight is when he pushes Cooper up against the wall. And he's got the sword in his chest, right? So he starts pushing it forward. Now, you think it's just going to stab into Cooper, right? No. He puts it into Cooper's mouth.
And you can hear the sound of it scraping.
Cooper, like, has his mouth as wide as he possibly can, and the blade is going between his top and bottom teeth. The blade, and it's scraping against his teeth.
Flossing.
Oh my, like, to see it and to hear it is actually...
The sound they use in this scene is... Anyway.
That's how you scare me. That is the scariest thing.
More of that, please. Why the fuck wasn't that the
No,
whole movie?
not more of that.
No, but you know what I mean.
There was just enough of that. Yeah, but he destroys it. He kills him because he finds the silver letter opener
From the beginning of the movie.
The body of the original guy is also one of the meats hanging.
Yeah.
And he had it on him, basically, is kind of the assumption. So he stabs him with it, which weakens him, and then Cooper falls to the ground, and the werewolf crawls towards him to try and finish him off.
Yeah.
And there's this shot, it's very quick, where we see Cooper's perspective with the werewolf coming towards him, and it almost appears to be a dog.
Yeah.
And he lifts up his pistol, and he shoots the dog /
like he wouldn't
werewolf.
do in the beginning of the movie.
In the head.
Yeah.
Which is that perfect, 360 parallel
shot.
And I think it's supposed to symbolize how, like, this entire experience has changed him and a loss of innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is basically the film. He comes out of the house and he walks away with the dog on the leash.
It's one of those shots where it's like he exits from the front door except there's no house.
But yeah, he leaves with the dog. The dog survives, if anyone was worried about the dog. And he walks out there with him. And they do that cute thing when, like, in a cartoon, when a house explodes and all that's left is the front door, but he still walks through the front door.
Apparently the dog was in the basement the whole time. And we just missed it. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's an undoubtedly well-made movie. It's probably one of the better werewolf movies I've seen. But I guess maybe it was my mood, or maybe it just wasn't for me. Like, I didn't think that it was particularly, like, groundbreaking. Like, it was undoubtedly well made. There are things I like about it, like the sword in the mouth bit, that was really cool. The bit with the blood in the Land Rover was cool. Like, the messaging is interesting, even though I think it's a bit messy. But it's just not, like... I just really struggled to engage with it. Like, I don't know. I think the characters weren't very distinct. It's the same issue I had with Annabelle Creation, right? Where, like, none of the characters were distinct enough for me to, like, give a fuck. Except they do it better. Obviously, this one was way better than The Conjuring. I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Interesting. Okay. See, I agree with what you're saying about undistinct characters.
Yeah.
I think, but what got me, though, is I was more so watching, like, The Herd. So to me, it was literally like the messaging, which is that these soldiers could be anyone, and that their lives and their individual wants and needs are kind of irrelevant. And that their group mentality was more so what I was invested in.
Yeah.
And it was interesting commentary on, military, and the point that soldiers are just, users kind of followed by those above them, and those soldiers realizing that, and how on one hand it caused rage and kind of confusion, but on the other, they still buckled down.
Still go back to their instinct.
Were loyal, yeah, and were loyal. One of the last lines of the leader before he sacrificed himself is literally that, like, oh, I signed up my life for this. I meant it when I did it. That he killed himself, essentially. Which, echoes that sentiment that signing yourself up for the military is just signing yourself up for suicide.
Yeah.
So I like that messaging. I think they could have pushed it more. I also understand that this is an action film.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of werewolf films are. Because like you said, they're not usually scary, so it's more about like the fighting and the chasing and the etc. My biggest critique of that is I felt like they needed to either lean more into the messaging or lean heavier into the action.
Yeah.
Because what we got instead is a lot of the film, damn good half of it, just being a repeating cycle inside the house.
It was literally fighting, talking.
Yeah, it would be we're being attacked, now we're talking, and there's more revelations. Now we're trying to attack, now we're talking. And it was just up and down, up and down. So you just feel like you're going in a circle. I mean, we barely gave very distinct details about each wave.
We missed a few.
There were so many waves we didn't even address because they were kind of all the same. We just spoke about the most importance of beats. So to me, it was like, either just stop trying to like give us the message and just go in with the action. Go full Rambo with this bitch, right?
They tried to do two things at once and it didn't work.
Or lean more into the meaning. Have them have less fights and have more introspection, more growth as characters. It just felt like it was pulling it too much into different directions. And for that reason, I did actually give it 2.5. But I think if I was in a better like headspace and in a very specific mood for that movie, I could 100% go to 3.
Yeah. I see myself rewatching this movie in future. Yeah.
I definitely liked this a lot more when I watched it when I was a kid.
I did not watch it as a kid. Did you?
See, I did, yeah. I couldn't remember like much of it at all. But I just remember liking it a lot more. I mean, maybe that's because I was younger. The action was funner, and then also werewolves are a little scarier when you're younger.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much my thoughts. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for listening. We are Literally Ed Podcast. We are wherever you get your podcasts and YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd as well. Thank you.
And please do. Thank you. Bye.